Story of my life. This is the story of my life.
Story of my life.
Story of my.
Oh,
Yeah.
Everyone must know this secret to making millions in the Gambia. Yeah. So this video is courtesy of a subscriber of ours. Well, a lot of subscribers are people who are thinking of relocating to Africa. They have been asking us, what is the most verified or successful way to make money in the Gambia or Africa at large, right? And so after all of my research and based on what I know, I think the number one way to sustain yourself in Africa is through rental properties. Anywhere at all in the world, rental properties is the way that you can sustain yourself. But for the Gambia, let me tell you why it's important and why you can make millions, literally, from rental properties here in the Gambia. Number one, the Gambia is booming right now. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but Gambia is booming right now. There's a lot of development taking places in areas that myself, I didn't even know about. And I thought I have toured all of Gambia. I've been everywhere. Anybody say, yo, AP, you know Gambia? I'm like, yeah, I know everywhere. I'm wrong. I don't know everywhere in Gambia. I have been seeing some places in Gambia that I've never saw before in my years of living in Gambia and exploring real estate. I've never even seen these areas, but they're building some very nice houses around there. Some new communities are popping up. People are investing in Gambia, and they're building apartment units, which is perfect for short-term rental, right? So when you rent your property short-term, you generate more revenue from a short-term rental versus a long-term rental. A long-term rental is one fixed price for the year. You cannot make any more money from that property. It's fixed. With a short-term rental, you make money each client that book. So if somebody book 1 month, they can leave that the following month, somebody else can book, and the money that you're going to charge per night is more than the money that you will charge per year, which is why short-term rental properties are much more lucrative than a long-term rental property, right? That's how it works across the world. You have short-term rental properties that are rented for thousands in some countries, but in Gambia, let's say short-term rental is $1,000 per night, and that's less than $5, I think. I don't know. Don't quote me. Right? Don't quote me on the conversion. I don't know right now, but it's cheap. It's very cheap per night if you really check it, you understand? So, and some places charge more. It depends on the amenities that you're offering. So let's say you're coming from America, you're coming from UK, or you're coming from the Caribbean, or wherever you're coming from, you have some money and you feel like you want to buy apartment unit from Prime Homes Limited here in the Gambia. They have 4 apartment units for sale around the airport. Very reasonable price. And when you buy it, it's yours for life, and you can just put that out on the marketplace and generate income from it. Let's say your budget of moving to Africa is 150, 200,000 or something like that. You can spend around 70,000 and buy an apartment unit, furnish it, make it nice, for example. Put it out on AirBnB and rent it for, let's say that area, you can rent it for, it's near the highway, it's near the highway, it's near the airport. So you can rent it $45, $35, $50 because it's 2 bedrooms. So you can rent it like $50 per night or so. Just an example, right? You can generate a lot of revenue from that, because anybody that is coming to the Gambia, they don't necessarily want to leave the airport and go in the city or go out of the city. They just want to be at the edge of the city, and that's how an apartment unit like this can come into play for someone who is thinking of going into short-term rentals, right? And you can generate money from it per night, not just from the international market, but from the local market, because local people also need privacy. Sometimes they have guests, they don't want to bring their guests to their house. They want to go to a place that is a little bit more private, more relaxing. That's not a problem. You have the apartment unit, you can just rent them out and generate money from it. So this is what a lot of property owners, Gambian property owners, other property owners are doing. They're purchasing or they're building their own apartment units, and then they're renting them out per night, which generate a lot of income. Now a lot of people will say, yo, AP, is that recommended though? Because there's a lot of people in Gambia who cannot afford to pay rent. yeah, my answer to that is the government is there. The government can make affordable housing for people who cannot afford to pay their rents, and generate revenue from that, and take that revenue and then reinvest it back into the country. That is also a possibility. One cannot expect a small property developer who don't necessarily have the financial muscle of the government to build an apartment unit or build out apartment units for millions, then sit and wait for 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 100 years before they see their profit. They're not going to do that. So therefore, they will build properties for people who are going to pay them right now, or pay them in a time that is going to be in their lifetime. You understand? Where as if the government is the one who built it, then as long as Gambia is Gambia, it will always benefit from those rental properties. It's a source of income that is keeping the money inside the local economy, because those properties will then be owned by the government, which is owned by the people, right? So it's like you're just benefiting yourself, which is good for the economy, right? So a local developer will never spend 20, 30, 40, 200, 300 million to build out affordable housing that they're going to rent it to local people that they can collect $3,500 a month dollars. No, they're not going to do that, because it's not going to be profitable for them. And real estate business, how investors do it, is for profit. Yeah, that's the truth. That's how real estate is a profit game. If you're making real estate and if you're having real estate and you're not making profit from it, it don't make sense. You understand what this is just a profit game. Anyway, so if you have a piece of land, you purchase a piece of land, and you get your clearances and all that stuff, and you start to build your property. You start to build, let's say you start with line house. They call them line house here, where the house is like lined out across. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can build 6, 7, 8 units line house, right? Not up, because if you go up, then it's going to cost more, but it's just flat, right? You can build them in no time, because it's just 4 walls and concrete roof, whatever. And then you just make it luxurious by adding lights, maybe put little glass here and there, buy some nice beds, sofa, put in the fridge, install the stove, stuff like that, and you rent them out $20, $30 a night. That can generate a lot of money for you. So let me get my calculator here and help you guys so you can know, because this thing is one of the fastest way to generate revenue. Real estate is the fastest way to generate revenue, you understand? So 35 times 8 is 280 per night. Now imagine if you can book that per month, right? 30 days. That's 8,400. 8,400, let me see how much that is. I don't know if it's $60, but if it's $60, that's 500,000 every month from 8 units. So 500,000 every month from 8 units. And you say, okay, I'm going to rent this property for, estimating I can rent everything fully booked 6 months. That's $3 million within 6 months. And let's say every 6 months you're having tourist season, like your peak season is 6 to 4 months, right? So within 6 months you're making $3 million. And then you have slow season. It's not like you're not going to make any money from the property, but it's just going to be less than what you would make in the 6 months. So therefore your estimation can be up to $5-6 million a year from your rental properties, right? So if you're making $5 to $6 million from 8 rental property, that you're basically, maybe you spend, let's say I hope this is not too high, the wind. Let's say you're spending $6 million to build that 8 units. You're spending $6 million, and within the first year you're making your money back that you spend, and then continue after that you're making another $6 million the other year. That's all profit. Continue the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years is just profit, because you make your money back that you have invested to actually build the units, furnish the units. Yeah, maybe you have to do minor repairs, maybe change a little bed stuff and change, whatever linens, if you're putting linens there, or you can sell the linens to the tenants, and if they don't have any, you sell other stuff which can generate money. You can even add private transportation, which can also generate more money. Maybe you can have road trips, which can also generate more. So there's a lot of way that you can upscale that Airbnb business, you understand, to generate long-term revenue from it. So if you have 10, 20, 15 million dollars is, you build a 8 unit line house. Maybe you stay in one of them if you want, so you can cut your rent. You don't have to pay rent, and you rent the 7 out. You're making $3 million every a year, or $6 million a year, for example. If you know how to get your clients inside, let's say you call someone like us and say, "Hey, P. Jody, I want you guys to come and help me advertise," and we give you a budget, and you can pay that budget, and we help you to push the property the right way. You can book your property out for the entire year without even you doing anything. You just bill it and then give it out to market, AirBnB, Booking.com, other site, maybe DTG listings, or anywhere that you can list it, and meet the clients that you want to put in your property that is going to rent it. So for everybody that is coming to Gambia, coming to Africa, and they're like, yo, what is not just the fastest way to generate revenue, but what is the most sustainable long-term way to make money every day? And that is through rental property, short-term rental properties, right? A lot of people are going into it. Yes, when there's only short-term rental property, it does make the marketplace a little bit bad, because maybe a local person cannot rent it, or maybe a person who do not have the money to pay $30,000 a month because it's $1,000 a night. They are not going to be able to rent that property because it's out of their budget. It's also true. And I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe that's even me. Maybe that's even me. Maybe I cannot pay $30,000 a month. You understand? But still, the business model is still a viable one, for someone who can afford to pay. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a nice way to generate income and to, make money long term. This is a long term game. This is not a short term game. So if you even build it, let's say you buy an apartment unit from Prime Home Limited around Yundun, the airport side, and you start to rent these 2-room out, you're making $50 US a night, for example, right? It's going to be a long-term game. Before you make your money back, it's going to take you time. And when you make your money back, which is your property, if you don't borrow a loan to take it out, you're not in any rush, you can take your time. And that money that you're making is just sustaining you, right? When you make your money back, everything else is just profit. And it's an asset that you can also resell. You can resell it back later on in the future at maybe a higher price, because that area is still being developed. And maybe it's the Diplomat. Maybe it's a unit at the Diplomat, Swami India Diplomat, right? If you're purchasing at the Diplomat and you saw anything about the Diplomat or any of Swami India international properties on our platform, and you're purchasing from them without us, please let them know you saw it on our platform. Please, we appreciate you guys. But if you're purchasing from them, right, then it's going to be in an area filled with amenities. You can charge more money. Maybe you can charge $150 a night, because of where it is and the kind of development that they're building, roads, pool, gyms, everything is going to be there. The stadium is across the road. Banjul is there. It's within the heart of everything that is Gambia right now. So if you have an apartment unit like that, you can rent it for a lot more money. Maybe the upfront cost will be a lot, but it's not even a lot. It's actually very affordable versus some other properties elsewhere. You understand? So your first initial investment amount is not even a lot, really, for the value that you're going to get, or your clients is going to get when you rent that facility out to them. Coming from America, coming from UK, you have access to gyms, you have access to the beach, you have access to everything that you need to start. You understand? You have access to everything that you need to start your life here in the Gambia. It's a good look. So that's what I want to say, guys. The best way to do that, one of the best way to do it, is to have a short-term income generator, such as a short-term rental property. Now, there's another way to do it. And that other way that I used to talk about, I make several videos about it, is to buy and flip lands. You can buy and flip lands. If you know how to identify lands within a specific area that can be sold to someone like a developer, someone who wants to build their home at a price and make a profit on it, then, my friend, that is a way that you can generate revenue. It's a legal way. You understand? You can buy the land, do your own documentation on the land as whatever you want to do with it, and then sell it back to someone who is looking for a land within that vicinity, and generate revenue. So if you can negotiate the property owner, let's say the property owner was selling the land for $1 million, say for example, you negotiate the property owner to 800,000, right? And then you tell someone, okay, you know what? This is wholesaling, by the way. You tell someone like, you know what? I have a property that was costing $1 million, say, but I negotiated to 800,000. But in order for me to sell you the contract to the property, I am going to need 10% of whatever the landowner is, the property owner wants. So if the 10% of 800,000 is 100,000, for example, don't quote me on this, just an example, then you will make 100,000 from an 800,000 sale, and that person will save 100,000. You understand? And the other way you can do it as well is you negotiate the owner and they go down to 800,000. You buy it at 800,000, but because the market price for land in that area is 1 million, you can sell it for 1 million or 9.5 million. Not 9.5. 900,000 mash. My brains. You can sell it for and make something back on your money and do it again and do it again and do it again. That's why it's called flipping. Yeah, you make your profit, you do it again. You make your profit, you do it again. You make your, and it continue like that, right? So that's also another way to generate revenue. However, it is intensive, it's work intensive, it's a lot of work that you have to put into it for it to work. It's not something like a property where you buy it, everything is cleared, you don't have to do any more paperwork, you just need to maintain your property. Anytime you want, you just go there, you renovate, or you send cleaners, they sweep, they clean, they send painters, they paint. You don't have to do nothing. When you're flipping land, you have to be hands-on and in it directly every day. Now that's the difference between the two things, right? So these are two ways now you can generate revenue consistently, whether it's a pandemic time or a normal time. You can generate revenue because people are always going to need access to real estate. That's just what I know. Comment below and let me know some of the ways that you think that people can generate revenue in Africa every day in real estate. Because maybe there's some ideas that I'm not thinking about. Maybe agriculture, I don't know. Let me know, guys. Comment and let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone that you know. Also, if you like my music at all and you want to get the full loaded package of songs, they're available on our Patreon. It will be in the description, guys. If you're not a part of our Patreon family, please do join, because we're going to share some behind the scenes things about real estate, life in Africa that you may need to know, especially if you're making your way to Africa. If not, our YouTube community is here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for the love, the super chats, all of the well wishes and all these things. Thank you, guys. 2025, we're putting in the work. Yeah, love ya.